Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I want to ask you an honest and curious question. Have you ever wondered why, as we age, we often feel more fatigued, experience mild dizziness, or notice that our minds are not as sharp as they once were? And what if I told you that with just a few gentle yoga poses, perfectly suitable for those over 60, you could improve blood circulation to your brain, helping you stay alert and maintain a positive spirit every day? Would you believe me? Let's explore a topic today that I truly believe will bring many benefits to you. For simple yoga poses to boost blood flow to the brain after the age of 60. I'd like to share the story of Linda, 66 years old, living in California. She once told me that every morning she would wake up feeling heavy-headed, her memory seemed to falter, and she felt sluggish throughout the day. But after she began practicing the gentle yoga poses I'm about to share with you, in just 1 month, she noticed a remarkable change. She said her brain felt re-energized, her mind clearer, sharper, and her ability to focus improved. The reason is quite simple. When blood circulates well to the brain, nerve cells receive enough nutrients and oxygen, allowing them to function more effectively. Additionally, gentle yoga movements help calm the nervous system, release stress, and improve sleep quality. This is precisely why I want to share this with you. The first pose I'd like to talk about is the seated forward bend, also known as Pascamanasana. This is a simple yet highly effective movement. Linda initially felt a bit stiff, but by simply sitting on a mat, stretching both legs forward, keeping her back straight, and slowly bending forward to reach her feet or ankles, holding the position for 30 seconds while breathing deeply, she felt a clear sense of relaxation. When bending forward, blood gently flows to the brain, increasing oxygen and calming the mind. Research shows that this pose reduces stress, improves concentration, and supports deep sleep. The second pose is legs up the wall pose, or Viparita Karani. This is a pose anyone can easily do at home. Margaret, 68 years old, spends 5 to 10 minutes every night before bed performing this pose. Simply lie on your back on a bed or the floor, raise your legs and rest them against the wall at a right angle to your body, with your arms relaxed at your sides. She shared that after doing this, the tension in her legs melted away, and her mind felt light and refreshed. This pose encourages blood from the lower body to flow back up to the brain, supports circulation, reduces swelling in the legs, and enhances brain function. The third pose I encourage you to try is the cat-cow stretch. This gentle sequence helps keep the spine flexible and stimulates blood circulation throughout the body, including the brain. Susan, 70, used to suffer from back pain and frequent fatigue. After I guided her to practice this sequence each morning, starting in a tabletop position on all fours, inhaling as she arches her back and lifts her chin, the cow pose, then exhaling as she rounds her back and tucks her chin, the cat pose, repeating this 10 times, she told me that after each session, not only did her back feel lighter, but her mind also felt clearer. With just these 3 simple poses, you can start feeling noticeable changes in both your body and mind. But to give you even more depth and help you fully understand how yoga works for your brain health, let's go deeper. Another essential aspect I want to highlight is breathing. Breath work combined with movement plays a critical role in stimulating blood flow. Deep, intentional breathing during yoga helps oxygenate the blood and reduces carbon dioxide buildup, which in turn makes your brain function more efficiently. Dr. Emily Hayes, a neurologist specializing in senior health, often says that a calm breath is a calm brain. She has seen many of her older patients benefit from adding simple breathing techniques to their routines. There's also the importance of pacing yourself and listening to your body. At this age, yoga should never feel like a competition or a challenge. It's a gentle conversation with your body and mind. Mary, 72, from Texas, initially tried to push herself too hard and ended up with unnecessary discomfort. But when she shifted to a slower, more mindful approach, her body responded with gratitude. She felt stronger, lighter, and more energized without strain. Hydration is another piece that often goes unnoticed. Even mild dehydration can reduce blood flow to brain and lead to feelings of fatigue and mental fog. Always drink a glass of water before starting your yoga practice, and have water nearby to sip between poses. Simple, yet so impactful. I also want to encourage you to approach each yoga session with joy and curiosity rather than obligation. View each practice as an opportunity to reconnect with your body, honor its wisdom, and gently strengthen both your body and mind. Over time, these small daily rituals will become something you look forward to, much like Linda and Margaret have shared with me. There's still much more to share about yoga, gentle movement, and how they can continue to nourish your mind. In the next section, I'll introduce more poses and offer stories from seniors who have transformed their mental clarity and energy through these simple but powerful practices. Stay tuned, because this journey is just beginning. Continuing from where we left off, I'd like to share more ways that simple yoga and mindful movements can nourish your brain and uplift your spirit. After hearing so many stories from seniors who transformed their health through gentle routines, I know these small actions can make a big difference. Let's start with a bridge pose. This pose gently elevates the hips and allows blood to flow more freely toward the brain, stimulating circulation and creating a light, energized feeling. Barbara, 71, from Arizona, shared with me how she includes the bridge pose in her morning routine. She lies on her back with her knees bent and feet flat on the floor, then slowly lifts her hips while breathing deeply. She holds the pose for a few breaths before gently lowering herself. Over time, Barbara noticed that not only did her lower back feel stronger, but her mind became sharper and clearer. She mentioned that her morning brain fog gradually faded after just a couple of weeks. Another practice I'd love to suggest is mindful walking combined with breath awareness. While walking may seem simple, pairing it with conscious breathing and slow, intentional steps turns it into a moving meditation. Dr. Emily Hayes emphasizes that this practice enhances oxygen flow, calms the nervous system, and stimulates areas of the brain responsible for memory. Peter, 74, from Oregon, found that his daily walks transformed when he began paying attention to his breath and posture. He says that after each walk, he feels more present, and his memory has become noticeably sharper. I also want to talk about visualization during yoga practice. Imagining energy and breath moving through the body add an extra layer of connection between the mind and body. This mental imagery strengthens neural pathways and boosts focus. Margaret, 67, from Florida, imagines a gentle stream of light flowing from her heart to her head during her yoga practice. She says that this visualization brings a sense of peace and clarity, and she often finds creative ideas bubbling up afterward. A warm-up routine is just as important. Gentle neck rolls, shoulder rotations, and wrist movements prepare the body for yoga and encourage blood flow to the upper body and brain. Helen, 70, from Colorado, shared that before she starts her practice, she spends 5 minutes on slow warm-up movements. Not only does this help prevent stiffness, but it also wakes up her mind for the day. I can't emphasize enough the importance of consistency. Dr. Hayes always reminds us that benefits compound over time. Even on days when you feel low on energy, doing just 1 or 2 gentle poses can shift your mood and re-energize your mind. Richard, 73, from New York, follows a simple rule: never skip 2 days in a row. This keeps him on track without pressure and allows his body and mind to stay in rhythm. Lastly, I encourage you to be gentle with yourself. There will be days when your body feels tired or your mind seems scattered. That's perfectly okay. On those days, simply sitting quietly, placing a hand on your heart, and breathing slowly is enough. Over time, your body and mind will thank you for this kindness. In the next part, we'll continue exploring practical examples, gentle movements, and stories from others who have found joy and mental clarity through these simple habits. Stay with me. Your journey toward a sharper, more vibrant mind is unfolding beautifully. Continuing from where we left off, I'd like to take you deeper into this journey of gentle movements and mindful practices that truly make a difference to the brain, especially after the age of 60. There's something truly beautiful about how simple practices, when done with consistency and intention, can bring profound changes not just to the body but to the mind. One practice that deserves more attention is alternate nostril breathing, known as Nadi Shodhana in yoga. This calming technique helps balance the brain's hemispheres, reduces anxiety, and increases mental clarity. Mary, 69, from Michigan, told me that after just 2 weeks of practicing alternate nostril breathing every evening, she noticed she could focus better and felt less scattered throughout the day. The practice is simple. Sit comfortably. Gently close the right nostril with your thumb. Inhale through the left nostril. Then close the left nostril with your ring finger and exhale through the right. Repeat the pattern slowly, with calm and focused breathing. Next, I'd like to highlight the power of gentle spinal twists. These movements promote spinal flexibility and improve circulation around the spine and to the brain. Dr. Emily Hayes often reminds her patients that a healthy spine supports not only posture, but also neurological function. George, 72, from Vermont, includes seated spinal twists in his routine, and he shares that not only does his back feel less tense, but his thinking also feels clearer and sharper. Adding balance exercises to your yoga practice is another way to enhance brain health. Balancing stimulates the brain's coordination centers and improves focus. Barbara, 71, whom I mentioned earlier, has started using simple poses like tree pose to help with balance. She says she feels more stable and mentally alert after practicing balance-focused exercises. Let's not forget the power of sound and vibration in enhancing mental clarity. Gentle humming or chanting during yoga practice can stimulate the vagus nerve, promoting relaxation and improving brain function. Margaret, 68, from Florida, hums softly while in certain poses, and she describes a sense of peace and a subtle lifting of mental fog afterward. Another helpful habit is mindful observation of nature after practice. Spending even 5 minutes in quiet observation, watching the movement of trees, the colors of flowers, or listening to birdsong, stimulates brain pathways linked to creativity and stress relief. Peter, 74, often ends his yoga sessions by sitting quietly in his garden, and he feels this habit helps him integrate the calm and clarity gained from his practice into the rest of his day. Restorative yoga poses, such as supported child's pose or reclining bound angle pose, are also excellent for deeply calming the nervous system. These poses require minimal effort, but offer maximum relaxation, allowing the brain to slow down and rejuvenate. Helen, 70, shared that she often falls into a deep, restful sleep after spending just 10 minutes in a restorative pose before bedtime. Remember, the goal is never perfection. It's about cultivating habits that nourish you gently and consistently, and each small action builds over time, contributing to a brain that is alert, a heart that is calm, and a body that feels supported. In the next part, we'll look at how to build a daily or weekly practice plan that fits seamlessly into your life, along with more inspiring stories from seniors who have discovered renewed mental clarity through these gentle, mindful movements. Continuing from where we left off, let's now talk about how to build a daily or weekly practice plan that fits into your life in the most natural way, while bringing long-term benefits to both brain and body. It's not about creating rigid schedules, but finding gentle rhythms that make you feel nurtured, supported, and energized. One of the best ways to start is by setting aside a quiet moment in the morning or evening, whichever feels right for you. Dr. Emily Hayes often recommends starting small, just 10 minutes a day to focus on gentle movement and breathing. Over time, these moments become as comforting as a warm cup of tea. Richard, 72, from Maine, began his routine with 5 minutes of stretching after waking and 5 minutes of deep breathing before bed. Now, he calls those moments the anchors of his day. Finding your personal sequence is key. For some, starting with seated stretches and spinal twists feels best, followed by standing balance poses. For others, it might be better to begin with mindful breathing and move into gentle poses after. Barbara, 70, from Texas, discovered that starting her evenings with alternate nostril breathing followed by gentle forward bends helped her release tension and sleep better. You can also build flexibility into your routine by rotating poses through the week. Margaret, 68, has a simple system: Mondays and Thursdays for stretching, Tuesdays and Fridays for balance, Wednesdays for restorative poses, and weekends for nature walks and breath work. This variety keeps her engaged and avoids boredom. Listening to your body every day is vital. There will be days when energy is low, and that's okay. On those days, simply sit comfortably, close your eyes, and breathe slowly. Even this simple practice gives your brain the gift of calm. Another wonderful practice is combining journaling with your yoga or movement routine. After finishing your poses, take a few minutes to jot down how you feel. This creates a deeper awareness of your mind-body connection and helps you track subtle improvements over time. Peter, 74, from Oregon, started keeping a small notebook by his mat and writes a single sentence after each session. He says looking back at those notes gives him both encouragement and insight. Being kind to yourself on days when you miss your routine is just as important. Helen, 70, shared that when she misses a practice, she simply smiles and reminds herself that tomorrow is another opportunity. This attitude of compassion helps avoid guilt and makes the habit feel supportive rather than stressful. Surrounding yourself with small reminders can help. A rolled-up yoga mat in the corner of your room, a favorite cushion, or a playlist of calming music. All these little cues signal to your brain that it's time for care. Finally, sharing your journey with a friend or family member can make the process even more joyful. George, 75, from California, started practicing with his granddaughter on weekends. He says those moments not only strengthen his body and mind, but also deepen their bond. As we continue, we'll look at ways to stay motivated long-term, including stories from seniors who've turned these simple habits into lasting sources of vitality and mental sharpness. Continuing from where we left off, let's now explore ways to stay motivated in the long run and truly turn these simple practices into lasting habits that nurture your mind, body, and spirit. Motivation doesn't always come from big goals. Often, it comes from the small moments of success that accumulate over time. One of the most effective ways to maintain motivation is to celebrate progress, no matter how small. Dr. Emily Hayes suggests recognizing each time you complete a practice, even if it's just a few minutes. This recognition builds confidence and creates a sense of accomplishment. Linda, 73, from Virginia, keeps a jar where she drops in a small note every day she completes her yoga practice. On days when she feels low, she reads those notes and is reminded of how far she's come. Another way to keep going is to refresh your routine regularly. Our minds crave variety and new challenges. Barbara, 70, from Texas, adds a new pose or breathing technique to her routine every few weeks. This keeps her curious and engaged, and she looks forward to her practice rather than seeing it as repetitive. Setting gentle, flexible goals also helps. Instead of pushing for strict milestones, allow space for gradual growth. George, 75, from California, sets monthly intentions rather than daily goals. One month, he might focus on improving balance, the next on deepening his breath work. This approach removes pressure and allows his practice to evolve naturally. The environment in which you practice matters too. Creating a calm, inviting space with soft lighting, pleasant scents, and perhaps a window with a view of nature can make practice time feel like a retreat. Peter, 74, from Oregon, has a corner in his home with a comfortable mat, a small plant, and a shelf for his journal and favorite books. He says stepping into that space immediately calms his mind. On days when motivation is low, gentle reminders from friends or family can be invaluable. Mary, 72, practices yoga with a small group of friends over video calls. They encourage each other, share progress, and laugh together, making the journey feel lighthearted and supported. Acknowledging the emotional benefits of these practices is key. Helen, 70, from Colorado, often reflects on how much calmer and more focused she feels after even a short practice. She writes down how she feels before and after each session, and says seeing the change in her own words keeps her going. Visualization can also fuel motivation. Margaret, 68, from Florida, visualizes herself feeling light, clear-headed, and full of energy as she practices. This mental imagery reinforces her commitment and helps her stay connected to her why. Finally, sharing your journey with others through conversation, writing, or even teaching simple techniques to friends deepens your own understanding and strengthens your resolve. Richard, 72, from Maine, teaches gentle breathing exercises to his neighbors, and the joy of sharing motivates him to continue his own practice. In the next part, we'll wrap everything together, offering encouragement, reflecting on key lessons, and inspiring you to make these gentle habits part of your life story for years to come. Continuing from where we left off, let's now tie everything together and talk about how these simple yet powerful practices can become a cherished part of your everyday life. It's not just about physical movement or breath work. It's about nurturing your mind and heart, giving yourself moments of peace, clarity, and joy. One of the most beautiful aspects of this journey is the transformation that happens quietly over time. You might not notice the difference after 1 or 2 sessions, but one day you'll realize you're waking up feeling lighter, moving with more ease, and thinking with more clarity. Peter, 74, from Oregon, once told me that he didn't realize how much calmer and sharper his mind had become until his granddaughter commented on how peaceful he seemed. Building rituals around these practices makes them even more special. Perhaps lighting a candle before you begin, playing gentle music, or sitting in your favorite chair afterward with a cup of tea. These small touches create a sense of ceremony, reminding you that this is your time. Gratitude remains a key part of this practice. Ending each session by silently thanking your body for its strength and resilience helps nurture self-compassion. Barbara, 70, from Texas, always places her hand over her heart at the end of her routine and whispers a quiet thank you. She says it has deepened her connection with herself. It's also important to celebrate your consistency. Each time you show up for yourself, even on the days when you'd rather not, you're building a habit that supports you far beyond the moment. George, 75, keeps a simple calendar where he marks each day he practices. Looking at the growing chain of marks fills it with pride and keeps him going. There may be setbacks. Life happens. There will be days you feel tired or distracted. On those days, simply sitting quietly, taking a few deep breaths, and offering yourself kindness is enough. Helen, 70, from Colorado, learned that skipping a day is not failure. It's simply part of the rhythm. The next day is always a fresh start. If you can, share your journey with others. Teaching a friend a simple pose or sharing your favorite breathing technique not only helps them but also reinforces your own commitment. Margaret, 68, from Florida, holds small gatherings with her friends where they practice and then share tea and conversation. These gatherings have become a source of joy and connection. Before we close, I invite you to reflect on this journey. Think about how far you've come, the small moments of calm and clarity you've cultivated, and the resilience you've built within yourself. Remember that each gentle breath, each stretch, and each moment of mindfulness is a gift to your body and mind. I would love to hear from you. Have these practices made a difference in your life? What small rituals bring you peace and clarity? Please share your experiences in the comments below. Your stories inspire others and create a community of encouragement. And if you found this series helpful, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with anyone who might benefit. Together, we can build a community of care, wisdom, and support. Thank you for spending this time with me. May your days be filled with energy, your mind with clarity, and your heart with joy. Until next time, take care of yourself and keep nurturing your beautiful journey.